Okay, hello everybody. So James McKenzie, I'm with the IT security over here at HackMerced. We'll be going through a few of the basic items for security items. I can't get involved in depth what we do or how we do it, but I will go over a general ideas. This has been anyway from trying to hack into our systems and causing legal problems. Okay. What our daily job goes is a lot of checking the firewall logs, what goes on during the night when we're not there, looking at all our email logs for any type of spam activity, virus, malware that may be coming in, going through all the accounts that may have been tried to hack with all the breaches in security. People are using their their student email accounts for websites. But these websites get hacked, they usually use the same password for the students and for UC Merced. So we end up having to possibly get those accounts checked, verified to have the passwords changed. A lot of days we're just handling tickets, incidents that people come up with, you can't connect, they're having problems with many things, we get it. We do try to do a lot of training though, either with our personal and with business. The personal ones and the business ones will go through separately coming up later. We do look for malware, virus, ransomware, any type of minority things that's not looking right in the network. We do have full access visibility in the network, so we can see if something's going wrong. We work with the network teams, and we do work with a lot of different teams around UC Merced to make sure everything works. We do a lot of report writing. This is very critical. It keeps track of what's going on, how it happens, and does allow us to detect trends or something maybe going on. And if you notice, there's no routine day. Some days we may start at 8 o'clock in the morning, we're still working 10 to 11 o'clock at night because a problem's going on, we got to resolve it. Then some days it's like, okay, here it is at 5 o'clock, we leave. Nothing's going on. And a lot of times we're attending meetings for products that are coming up. We're going to vendor, trying to sell us on the product, how it works. Doesn't make any job easier. It depends on what comes up. And being security, we all involved in everything. So all the product has come through us to verify it is meeting security standards, and that's supposed to be doing what it's going to be doing. Now, a way to get into IT security, one of the main things on a major company, they will do a background check on you. That's because we see all the personal identifying information on a person. We get access to a lot of accounts that they can be hacked and come into. So yes, we do have background checks. So if you got anything serious on it, it's hard to get into the security, IT security. It depends on the company if they wish to waive it or not. A degree does help, but the knowledge helps a lot more. You may have a degree in the field. A lot of companies now are going away from the degree, going for how much do you know of the job? Can you do the job? A lot of people have degrees, can't do the job because they're only book smart. They're not know the basic information on how to get it. There is many different types of certifications in that security field. The vendor neutral are best when you're starting off. I'll show you what those are in a few minutes. The reason they're best to start off with because you don't know what the company is having for the security. There's many different vendors, access people, how they want it set up, and each vendor has a different way to set it up. How they say best solution, best this or best that. So you really can't go into it and say, I know this product, well, that product may not be used on the company you're going for. Then you got multitask and set priorities. The reason we do that because we are actually usually doing 2 to 3 things at a time. We come in and we go, okay, we got this problem going on. and we got to call, okay, well, this VIP person needs help. So we're actually looking at working on that as one problem as a team or as a separate person, and maybe that VIP person's online or coming into us. So sometimes you have to be able to keep things straight and orderly. And like I said, strange and long hours. I've had worked for security and networking time where I was working for like 26, 28 hours straight because of major problems. You can't really detect or determine how long you'll last enough that day because of problems may come up. You may need to stay. But a good way to get into any security field or the IT field is get an intern job. Most will not pay much, or if any. They want you to have the experience. I've actually heard of someone you all you do is just get coffee for the workers. But it's a good way to make connections. Sometimes that one connection may help you years down the road. It has helped me, and the networking has helped out a lot for things. So I can actually go to some of these people who've got problems and talk to them about it. Also, if you're going to college, if you get into as an intern in the IT field in some way, help desk is a good way to start. And if you're looking to actually get into it as freshman year, but make sure you're able to do it. These jobs are demanding because you're going to be taking off some of the work of the routine work of the people that are actually working there. So they go into more in-depth stuff, but they're always going to be helping. At least we do here at HackMerced. Now the skills, I was listening to some of the ones for the software development. If you think in different ways how to do stuff, you're going to make it better. Because if you think, oh, well, this is the way everybody does it, has done in the past, yes, so what sets you apart? You got to have something that sets you apart to have them remember you. If you don't remember, you don't set yourself apart, you don't make things different, you won't stand out and they won't look at you. Able to multitask, able to do multiple things at one time. If you just sit there, say I can only concentrate on one job at a time, most likely you'll not be good in the IT field. We're actually, at times I'm doing 3 to 4 different things. Do I mess up? Yes. Does other people mess up? Yes. Because the things where it gets crossed over. They go, okay, I'm sorry, and go back. Now, a lot of problems in the security, you got to get to the root of the problem. What caused it? How it caused it? And if we go into it, we look, okay, how did this incident happen? When did it happen? Who caused it? Do we get mad at the person? No, we want to know the fact. A lot of times when you're honest up front, we don't care, we got to get to the root. Be honest. Everybody makes mistakes. It was a simple mistake that anybody could have made, don't worry. And be upfront. If you make a mistake, you caught yourself and stopped it, let the team know. People are not going to hold it against you. They may hold you higher because now you're saying, hey, I missed stuff, and it helps you out. Now, in IT, everything's being meshed in together now with everything, how it comes together. The help desk, the server team, network team, security team, all come in. And you got to have knowledge in each one of those areas to help out. The more areas you have, the easier it is to do the job, and the more in demand you're going to be. We got people who started in the help desk are now working in security because they know the basics. They work their way up, and they learn things. Never stop learning because you will get passed over and passed by younger people. Now for certifications, you got the vendor neutral. CompTIA TIA is the basic one, and it has many different entry levels from entry to advanced level. And that means if you just know the basic, okay, that's fine. The advanced ones are more like years in the field. Cloud Security Alliance, they offer mid to advanced certification in the cloud, but you need to usually have about 3 years experience. Then you got to go to the ISC squared. These are the advanced certifications. Usually these are the managers and above that have them, because they're more dealing with manager stuff, how to do stuff, types of security, and the certifications that go along with it. Now, if you look at the CompTIA certification, you get the entry level. You got network, security, and Linux Plus. And you got other ones that are actually simpler than that. Network Plus is saying, do you know how the network works, how it connects, the routing protocols. If you have two switches together, how they can communicate. Then when you get in security, you're looking at how to build the security on top of that. What firewalls would do, how they work, how they act. Are they going to be static, where you need a route coming in and going out? Or are they going to be dynamic, where you have one route or rule to allow you to go out and it automatically comes back in? Then you go into Linux Plus, which is the command line a lot of hackers are using. So that one we won't go into too much. Now the mid-level one is the Security Plus. I forgot what all it stands for. But this one is more in-depth security knowledge, how it works together, the type of additional features you could put into devices, how everything comes together. Now, when you do this one, they're saying, I think 3 years recommended knowledge of it to do it. So take it as it is. So it's like you have a little bit more knowledge. Now the pen test is a penetration tester, where you're actually going in and testing the networks out, testing devices, and see if you could actually break in or hack into the systems. Now everybody knows, since it's a hackathon, we got the black hat, white hat, and gray hats. This will be towards the white hat and gray hat area. They don't try to do black hat testing, but usually in order to do the white and gray, you need the black. That's where they start testing you how to get into the systems. Now the more advanced ones is the CAS, which is Certified Advanced Security Practitioner. Yeah. This one is more advanced, it goes more in depth, and it takes everything together from all the different levels. It dumps it in and say, do you know how to pass these tests? These are more hands-on tests. CompTIA certification is more hands-on, more advanced, independent, neutral. So you get a broader range. And then when you go into your vendor-specific certifications like Cisco, Palo Alto, Brocade, Extreme now, Brocade and Extreme bot are together. FireEye, SolarWinds, Microsoft, VMware, Linux. They're going to teach you how to do things, but they're going to teach you their way. If you go Cisco certifications, they're going to teach you this is the Cisco way to do it. But then when you go to the Brocade Extreme way, you have to do it their way, which is a little different for that. And they do use the command lines. So it's a Unix-based system. Then when you go into the Palo Alto system, which are firewalls, okay, this is how the recommended setup. But by the time you get into the designs, everything else, the firewall is, okay, you have to bend it to how you have it. Cisco has firewalls also when they say, okay, we use this, we do that. Brocade is no longer a company now, they got bought by Extreme, but it's still around. Every device has a unique item to it. SolarWinds gathers data so you can make the network, see how it designs. There was a breach of SolarWinds, I think 3 months ago. It has caused major problems. This is a major security breach, all because somebody didn't secure the password with a harder password. They used a simple, everyday password they used, allowed them to get into the SolarWinds, change a few things. So hackers had access to the SolarWinds, which had access to the full network design that they're hacking for. So they're able to get around. Then you go into Microsoft, everybody's certain Microsoft, how all the different certifications they have. So each one is different. Each one is how they want it set up. Now there are some good ways to improve your knowledge. There's many free sites. They will teach you. People on those sites will sometimes go into it and say, you got a question, they'll come in and answer it for you. But sometimes those people answering them do not know much more than you. So look at around. There's Cisco has one that teaches somebody from beginning all the way to expert. ISC Squared does the same thing. And SANS actually does free training and get a chance to win some certifications and money. I'll show you that more later on. So if you do this, you can sign up to these sites. Just go look at them, look around, and you may get some free stuff. You may get free help if you're ever in trouble. Now this is the awards from SANS.org. They're a national cyber championship. Catch of this is you have to be a student. So you had to have an EDU account. So every quarterly they have what they call a cyber fast track competition where people do the competition. They win $400, $1,000 cash scholarships. Yes, that can help out for your school expenses. But they give you that 3 SANS courses with certification attempts. That itself is well over $1,000 just for the certification. Go and take the certifications. SANS courses run $3,000 plus, depends on which course you're taking. So you're looking at well over $1,000, about $10,000 you're saving if you win that. Plus you get the cash scholarships. Now, if you look at this, these certifications then come into your job application. Well, I got these certifications. Well, that puts you up. So you can actually go in, get these things, and start coming ahead. Now, we could go more in depth, more information. But if you're looking at this, you want to look to the different sites, different schools, come here. Now, you seem to say we're one of the smaller ones, but we are gaining ground. We've only been around since 2005. So a lot of people are coming in. And right now we just have one person doing renewable energy. She just got going for her PhD in England for a scholarship. I think it's a Rhodes Scholarship. So we're coming out strong. Now let's go ahead and go to the question and answer and see what people have. Let me stop sharing for right now. Does anybody have questions? Fireframe, are we talking about a firewall? Yingqi Liu, I believe. Forgive me if I'm messing wrong. If you're talking about firewall, it either blocks or allows traffic. But the one main thing about firewall is that the last rule of the firewall, and what they also have access control lists on switches, is that it has the deny in it. It's not written usually. It's always there. So if you have that a rule you made up, put it all in place, and traffic keeps going dropped, it's usually that rule that gets us. People forget about it. And when I made some up, I always add that rule in, and I put logging so I can see what traffic is actually getting dropped and how it's going. Now, what would I recommend for students who are trying to land internships? The certs, each one varies. Get the basics. All you need is the CompTIA to learn, because there is many different ones out there. If you go to CompTIA, let's see. And look at certifications, then you can actually go to the web page. Share this page with you, so we can actually get it up there. This one we're looking at is the different certifications that they have. CompTIA fundamentals. If you're able to start a computer, this is a class. A plus computers. How to assemble and disassemble computers, what to look for. Most of the people nowadays, these are taught in school. This is what we're talking the core classics, network plus, security plus, cloud plus, knowledge of how the information on the cloud is going, and Linux plus. If you're looking at into an internship, the A plus, network plus, and security plus are some good ones. And yes, there is learning material for certifications. Usually you have to pay for it. But if you go to the website, sometimes people are actually writing about this. There's one site I use, it's called Discord, D-I-S-C-O-R-D. It is a program I download on my computer. These people are actually studying like you, and they'll help you out. It has many, many different certification levels, from all the way from beginner to advanced, and a couple of different ones from Windows to Linux to ISC Square, which is advanced security one, to CompTIA, Cisco stuff. So it's a good one to get into. If you have one cybersecurity course, depends on which one you want to get. You want to get the basic one. Is there learning material for certification? Learning material. Okay. Yeah, there's only at UC Merced, I haven't looked into the courses yet. And for everybody else, you have to look around, because sometimes you have independents that will actually offer online video training to do it. So you can actually go to, I think, a good one, Cyberry. This one does cost money to get into. And this one's a good one. It teaches you all different types. So you go in here, basic, create account, limited access. So it teaches you a lot of different things. And there are first two activities, you can look at materials, guided career path. And if you want to get into government work or government field and security, you're going to need the DoD certifications. A lot of those are the Security Plus is a standard one for it. You do require to have that one. As always done. And no, I haven't visited DEF CON. I've been too busy. I've always worked at different fields, and I always wanted to go, but they would never send me. Usually security field is always a short team people, because it's hard to keep people, hard to get going. When you finally get it to 10 people, there's no more staff, one will quit and move to somebody else. Then it's like, okay, you guys shuffle the work. I wanted to go, but the problem with that going in is that you got a chance of getting all your devices hacked. And I've talked to a vendor that went there that set up the Wi-Fi. They said supposedly nobody's got hacked with them, the way they set it up. And the way I understand how they set it up, they isolated everybody to their own little separate VLAN. So you're looking at a lot of work when you do that. Now, when you look at stuff, there's actually hackathons, hack competitions going on around the world, some in the US. We had one IT staffer here. She would actually go on weekends to hackathons, hack competitions. I'm sorry, I didn't have that chart. Yeah, these are the cyber, these are the plans. So you're looking at different plans and different options. It is a good one. Now there's also CBT Nugget. It's the same thing. Sometimes you get sign up for training. You may give you a free week, so you can look at what you want. If you have some time off, start that free week. Now they log in, I don't know how they do it. I don't know, check by credit card or what. Start the free week with one email account. If you don't got credit card, then do another week, different email account. That's what a lot of people do on stuff. So you just keep going. CBT nuggets are okay. There's different ones, and I can't remember the whole certification. They keep changing. The certification training, they got free training. So you go by vendor. So if you know this one's Cisco. This one is a new one coming out. CompTIA A Plus is the basic computer one. Azure, Microsoft, Amazon, Linux Foundations, Jupyter. There's a few people that use Jupyter, but I'll tell you this: if you get a Cisco, you say Cisco certification for networking, pass the exams, these other ones are going to be easy. You just have to learn how to do the command line. So a lot of people would say, "Do you know this? Do you know that?" They will quiz you on it. Turn my video on. So it does show up to how everything goes on. So you go in, come in and say, I want the, when you go in for the interviews, they will ask you a lot of questions. And yes, we do to do that to eliminate people who go through or the brain dump. They answer the questions on brain dumps sites. You get the questions and answers, but they don't learn nothing. It's eliminate those people. So if you're going in security, don't try to cheat yourself. You're going to hurt yourself later. You won't be able to get the good jobs. You won't have the knowledge. Stay with the training. And don't rush it. Go in, get certifications, and you will learn a lot more, and you'll be a lot more valuable to the company. And with the school, way the schooling is going, you have some people are learning JavaScript at a younger age. I know my son is, so it's amazing. So you learn stuff. You show stuff out. So if you're doing stuff, learn the good way. If you go and try to cheat, they will catch it. The person doing the certification exams may not, but when you go for interviews, they're going to ask you how you do this, why you do this. And now I've seen that some of the companies are going away from the advanced degrees, so you can have maybe an AA degree or 2-year degree, so a bachelor's or master's, to say, okay, yeah, you got the knowledge, you got some stuff, you're able to do reports. So all this stuff can be together, can change how everything works. Yet then if you want the more advanced positions, you got to have the advanced degrees. The higher, if you're going for, you got security, you got 4 levels, IT security levels. It's a standard now. So if you're going for 1 and 2 is you go like CompTIA plus exams. The more advanced levels, you're going to have the more advanced degrees. And you have to have the more level of education. So most of the stuff you're learning, you're doing things for yourself, but also then when you get into those new positions, they change, and you work on specific items. So when I started at one company, I had to do Cisco. It was almost a straight Cisco shop. Then I went to another site, they used different items, so I had to learn those items. So when you're going from one shop to another, it does hurt. But then you have that learning curve, and you do learn. So you take that knowledge, that certification, and training to your next job. If you stay at a job for, let's say, 2 years, which is good balance, then they'll say, okay, yeah. But if you go every 5-6 months, all they're saying is you're not worth it. They're going to leave in 6 months, so they'll hire somebody else. At the beginning for the security field, It is not going to pay a lot. Anything in IT at the entry levels do not pay. It's just the dues people got to push through. It started years ago, and some people say, oh, I just went security to make the money, but then you get people that have gone through the networking side, learn networking, they became a security, and that they learn how to have everything is interconnected and works. So that does help a lot. Now, what do I recommend to do? Learn. I worked at one company where I was at the only network person on site. I had to do networking, security, wireless, everything. Did that push me to my limit? Yes. I was there 10 hours, 12-hour days for a long time. Sometimes weekends also. Did I learn a lot? Yes. Did I have too much other stuff to do? And I had to worry about security. We've had, if you go into a security field with a thin skin where you get assaulted easily, it will not work. I've had that site. We had to do some major work. I had a lower security assessment before we did the start of the work. After we completed the work, I had the highest because they were able to scan my full network. It got all the way up to the corporate board. But luckily, the person that I was working with, the security manager, said, no, he's got it. He just needs some time. Security will take some time to do. You can't, if you flip one switch, what's going to happen? Is what they're coming down to. Are there more questions? Not yet. Is everybody asleep? Yeah, but I do want to visit DEF CON. Maybe another year or two, because they might send me. Yeah. If you do got questions, go ahead and send it to the Hack Security team. They will forward it to us. And we are available to answer a lot of questions about general security stuff. We cannot get involved and we will not answer specific items about the sites or what we know. And also, if you are planning on working at the, let's say, the U.S. government level, they do background checks more in depth. Most likely, you will need we call it secret security clearance, and they go 10 years back in your 10 years. They check everything. So if you're going into hacking, get caught in trouble, that's going to eliminate your government work. I've seen it a couple of times. So if you're trying to learn how to hack, do a set up a test system and learn how to hack with that stuff. But just don't go into a company or organization hack. They will find you. They find you, you get in trouble, you get spending time in jail, and there goes your future. You'll be on the dark web. So anything else we'd like to talk about? Okay. Oh, quiet time. Okay, after graduation, what is the best steps to take when getting into cybersecurity? Network. Network through a lot of stuff. Go to online website that has, that you post your profile. You may get as an intern, apply for a job that you may not be qualified for. The worst thing they do is say, no, you're not qualified. Then they say, oh, you're overqualified. Some people have gone into a job saying, I got this to get a qualification. They say, well, you're not qualified for this because of this, but we do have this position open. You want to apply for that. They apply for it and they sometimes get it. So it's just network and send out the resumes, the applications. Like I said, the worst company could say is no. The best thing to say is, okay, come in for an interview. Or now it's Zoom or everything else. They want people, but they also want to make sure you're going to stay around. You got the knowledge. Don't go as a cookie cutter resume. Stand out. Most companies do not care about what you look like. Do not put your profile picture on it. Get an email address that is unique for you, like your first name dot last name at gmail.com. That way they know. You may not use it ever again after you get that, but if you set that up, it makes you stand out a little bit more. But always network, always talk to people, keep in touch with your professors. They may know people. They may have contacts in the industry also. That would say, oh, by the way, do you know a good person? So always stay in touch with people. Get on LinkedIn. That's a good site. I keep in touch with a few people on there myself. So everything you can do to get into cybersecurity, do it. I started one company while I was doing the networking. They also put me on the security. I ended up having 6 different bosses. Was it 5 or 6? Depends on what I was doing that day. And half the time, on one side didn't know what they're doing. So it happens. But stay together, stay with these people. In security, you're not going to make people happy. The only thing you want to make happy is your managers who are trying to protect what's inside from hacking and from security breaches. So you got to do training and knowledge. Sometimes and always stand up for yourself. That's one of the biggest things you can do. You can't go in and say, okay, I'm just going to sit back and do nothing. Voice your opinion. Maybe it's like, okay, we can't do it because of this system. You may not have known about that system then, now you do. You may not know the full scope of everything, but you may start off, this person's not afraid to voice out. Is this person right? Not all the time. Nobody is. A good manager is listen to everybody. If you're in a company that always pushes people down, get out of there. They're not going to value your opinion or your skills. Get a company that suits you and go into cybersecurity. Then they train you, they work with you, and they teach you. They always help you. The bad companies say, hey, that's not your job. Your job is just do this or that. So I'm going to tell you that to anybody. If you're not happy there, look around. There's going to be other places. I always get emails through sites that say, hey, we got a job if you're interested in. Go to sign up for online at vendor site. Some companies only hire through a recruiting agency. Get with them. They may be get you in the door. I had it when I was working at the government site. We all done under the contractor. The pay's good, better, but you got no benefits as much. So you got to trade off the things. You're learning the skills, you're doing the job, and you get into the government side. You make a name for yourself. You also have to pass a background check, which in order to get the background check, you got to work for the government. In order to work for the government, you got to pass a background check. So it's a little thing. So anything more we'd like to talk about? Oh, we got 5 minutes still to go. Come on, people. Okay. Yeah, so if there's any questions, you always feel free to write to them and we'll go through it. But like I said, I was thinking about it. The best way to get into the security field is also going to a contract company. They may get a 6-month contract to work with something. Then that's for the networking side also. That gives you a foot in, gives you advance into the company, and that allows you to see, do you like that company? Is it a good fit for you? So it does have its advantages. So you can actually go in and say, this company I would not work for. But then it also allows you to get experience, which is the most important thing you could ever get into. Okay. Hope everybody has a fun time, enjoys himself. If you ever got questions, let us know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Thank you so much for taking the time out to come do your presentation and answer all these questions.
Oh, not a problem. If you ever got,
Very informative.
yes, if you ever got questions, feel free to ask. I know Marginet, I can't pronounce your name correctly. I know that. Manjanet.
Yeah.
Okay, it's taking me a little bit of time. You can always get with him. He's got direct line access to us and security and all the other fields that we support. If he can't answer it, we might be able to. And being at the UC system, we got access to all the UC campuses. You see. Oh, yeah, I showed it. There's actually 13 campuses here in UC, California. Each one's a little bit different, set up towards a different degree program. So you got questions, you always write to him, and we'll help you out as much as we can get to where you want to go. All right, people, thank you very much.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you so much and have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend, everybody. Have a good time at the hackathon.
Thank you.